The ancient pyramids of Egypt have been the subject of mankind's fascination for centuries. Now, these historic masonry structures are sprinkled across the Egyptian landscape and are living proof that the ancient Egyptian civilization was way more advanced than archaeologists and historians previously thought. In the past, there have been many speculations and theories regarding how these pyramids came into being. Some of these theories were simple, having a logical approach that labor built the pyramids that were designed by some incredibly talented architects. However, there are also some people who think outside of the box. A few among them have even proposed that these pyramids, especially the ones in Giza, were constructed by extraterrestrial beings. Believe it or not, the incredibly famous tech billionaire Elon Musk is among the people who believe the alien theory. According to sources, at least 118 Egyptian pyramids have been identified so far. Out of these, around 80 were built within the Kingdom of Kush, which is now located in the modern country of Sudan. The ones located in modern-day Egypt were mostly built as tombs for the pharaohs and their consorts during the Old and Middle Kingdom periods. The earliest known pyramid in Egypt was discovered in Saqqara, northwest of Memphis, but the most fascinating and popular pyramids around the globe are found in the Giza Pyramid Complex. This magnificent pyramid complex is also called the Giza Necropolis. It is the site on the Giza Plateau in Greater Cairo, Egypt, that includes the Great Pyramid of Giza, the Pyramid of Khafra, and the Pyramid of Menkaure, along with their associated pyramid complexes. The site also contains the Great Sphinx of Giza. All these structures were constructed between 2600 and 2500 BC during the 4th dynasty of the Old Kingdom of Egypt, according to historians. Besides the pyramids and the Sphinx, there are also remains of many cemeteries and work villages in the Giza necropolis. The site is located at the edges of the Western Desert, about 9 kilometers west of the River Nile in the city of Giza, while it lies around 13 kilometers southwest of the city center of Cairo. This entire complex, along with the nearby Memphis, was inscribed on the UNESCO World Heritage List back in 1979. The Great Pyramid and the Pyramid of Khafra are the two largest pyramids known to have been built in ancient Egypt, and they have gained the status of common emblems of ancient Egypt in the Western world over the centuries. The Giza Pyramid Complex gained the world's attention during the Hellenistic times. Antipater of Sidon listed the Great Pyramid as one of the 7 wonders of the world. It is the oldest one of the ancient wonders that still exist today. Khufu's pyramid complex consists of valley temples that are now buried under the village of Nazlet al-Saman. Archaeologists have discovered diabase paving and Numismatic limestone walls, but they have not yet excavated this site. The valley temple was connected to a causeway, most of which was destroyed when the village was constructed. It led to the mortuary temple of Khufu. The basalt pavement is the only remaining sign of this temple. This mortuary temple was also connected to the King's Pyramid, which was completed in 2560 BC. It has 3 smaller Queen's Pyramids and 3 boat pits. These boat pits actually contained a ship, and the 2 pits on the south side also had intact ships inside them when they were excavated. One of them was the infamous Khufu ship, which has been restored and is now on display in the Grand Egyptian Museum. The Khafre Pyramid Complex consists of a valley temple, a Sphinx temple, a causeway, a mortuary temple, and the King's Pyramid. Inside the Valley Temple, numerous statues of Khafra were found. Many other statues were also discovered under the floor of the temple by Mariette in 1860. Khafra's pyramid was completed in 2570 BC. It looks larger than the neighboring Khufu pyramid because of its more elevated location and steeper angle of inclination, but in reality, it is smaller in height and volume. This pyramid retained a prominent display of casing stones at the apex. Khafra's pyramid also consists of a valley temple, a causeway, a mortuary temple, and the King's Pyramid. There were many statues in Menkaure in the Valley Temple. In the past, a smaller anti-temple was added onto the Valley Temple during the 5th dynasty. The mortuary temple also contained many statues of Menkaure. This pyramid was completed in 2510 BC. In its 3 subsidiary pyramids, Menkaure's temple is the only one of the 4 main monuments in the Giza Pyramid Complex that does not have any of its original polished limestone casing intact. The Great Sphinx of Giza dates back to the reign of King Khafra. It is a limestone statue of a reclining sphinx facing directly from west to east. It stands on the Giza Plateau on the west bank of the River Nile. Its face represents the pharaoh Khafra. According to archaeological evidence, the Great Sphinx was created by ancient Egyptians of the Old Kingdom between 2557 and 2532 BC. Queen Khentkaus I was also buried in Giza. Her tomb was named LG100 and GE8400. It is located in the central area close to the Valley Temple of Menkaure. The Queen's Pyramid complex also consists of her pyramid, a boat pit, a valley temple, and a pyramid town. The majority of the construction theories regarding the Giza pyramids are based on the idea that these were built by moving huge, enormous stones from a quarry. They were supposedly dragged and lifted into place, but many experts disagree over the feasibility of this method. Proposed alternative methods by which these stones were moved and placed on top of one another. Some archaeologists have speculated that the architects back then might have developed their techniques over time. They probably selected a relatively flat part of the bedrock that functioned as a stable foundation. After careful surveys, they laid down the first level of stones and constructed the pyramids in horizontal levels, one above the other. Almost all of the stone in the interior of the Great Pyramid was seemingly quarried immediately to the south of the construction site. A fine grade of limestone that was quarried across the River Nile was used for creating the smooth exterior of the pyramid. The blocks forming the exterior had to be carefully cut and were transported using a river barge, then dragged up ramps to the construction site. Just a few exterior blocks are still in place at the bottom of the Great Pyramid, as most were taken away for building projects in Cairo between the 5th and 15th centuries. In order to maintain the symmetry of the pyramid, all its exterior casing stones were cut to be equal in height and width. The workers probably marked all the blocks to indicate the angle of the pyramid wall, and then carefully trimmed the surfaces to make these blocks fit together. All three sides of the Giza pyramids were astronomically oriented to the north, south, and east-west, according to experts who argue in favor of the Orion correlation theory. This arrangement of pyramids represents the Orion constellation. Fringe theory posits that the three largest pyramids of Giza and the Orion's belt of the constellation Orion are correlated, and it was done intentionally by the original builders of the Giza pyramid complex. The stars of Orion were often associated with Osiris, the god of rebirth and the afterlife in Egyptian mythology. However, Ed Krupp of Griffith Observatory in Los Angeles and Tony Farrell of the University of Cape Town, South Africa, independently investigated the claims posed by Robert Bauval, Graham Hancock, Anthony West, and other authors who argued in favor of the Orion correlation theory. Their critical analysis poked holes in this theory, mainly based on the less-than-ideal angle between the alignment of Orion's belt and north during the era cited by Hancock, Bauval, and other supporters of the Orion correlation theory. Another incredibly far-fetched theory about the construction of the Giza pyramids was shared by Elon Musk back in 2020. He may be the richest man on Earth, but some of his controversial opinions and moves have made people consider that he may not be the smartest. Angered the Egyptians by a bizarre claim he made in a tweet, Musk wrote in his tweet that the Great Pyramids of Giza were obviously built by aliens. As expected, the tweet went viral, and an army of critics turned towards him. The outlandish claim garnered him a lot of criticism from netizens who were baffled by a man of science and technology propagating such silly conspiracy theories. The International Cooperation Minister of Egypt was hell-bent on not letting aliens take credit for the hard work and efforts of ancient Egyptians, who put their sweat and blood into the construction of the colossal structures. Rainer Al-Mashat replied to Musk's tweet, which was retweeted almost 84,000 times. She wrote, "I follow your work with a lot of admiration. I invite you and SpaceX to explore the writings about how the pyramids were built and also to check out the tombs of the pyramid builders. Mr. Musk, we are waiting for you." It wasn't quite clear whether the tech billionaire was serious or just trying to be sarcastic, but most archaeologists believe that the tombs of the pyramid construction workers discovered in the 1990s are definitive proof that the magnificent structures were built by ancient Egyptian citizens and not some advanced aliens who landed on Earth in their silvery saucers. Zahi Hawass, an Egyptian archaeologist, responded to Elon's tweet by making a short video in Arabic that he posted on social media. In the video, he claimed that Elon Musk's argument was a complete and utter hallucination. He also said, "I found the tombs of the pyramid builders that tell everyone that the builders of the pyramids are Egyptians and they were not slaves." Elon Musk did later tweet a link to a BBC history site about the lives of the pyramid construction workers. He also wrote, "This BBC article provided a sensible summary for how it was done." This calmed the horrified Twitter users a little bit, who realized that, like many of his tweets, this one was also just an erratic musing by the quirky billionaire. The work of quarrying, moving, setting and sculpting the enormous number of stones used to build the pyramids was indeed carried out by several thousand skilled ancient Egyptian workers, unskilled laborers and supporting workers. Many bakers, carpenters, water carriers and people with other necessary skills also contributed to the project. There is wide speculation about the exact number of workers needed for the construction of such a massive project. On his visit to Giza in 450 BC, the Greek historian Herodotus was informed by the Egyptian priests that the Great Pyramid had taken 400,000 men to build, working in 3-month shifts of 100,000 men at a time. However, evidence from the tomb suggests that a workforce of 10,000 laborers working in 3-month shifts took about 30 years to build a single pyramid. Outside the large stone wall surrounding the Giza pyramid complex, Mark Lehner and his team found a town where the pyramid workers used to live. The town is situated southeast of the Khafre and Menkaure complexes. In this workers' village, archaeologists discovered communal sleeping quarters, bakeries, breweries, kitchens, a hospital, and even a cemetery. This town dates back to the 4th dynasty between 2520 to 2472 BC, which was after the accepted time of Khufu and the completion of the Great Pyramid. According to Lena and the ERA team, the development of this urban complex must have been quite rapid. All of the construction probably happened in the 30 to 50 years that spanned the reigns of Khafre and Menkaure, the builders of the 2nd and 3rd pyramids. The pottery shards, seal impressions and stratigraphy were used by the team to date the site. From their analysis, the researchers concluded that this was one of the world's earliest planned urban settlements, which securely dates to the regions of 2 Giza pyramid builders, Khafre and Menkaure. The Great Pyramids of Giza are colossal structures that continue to baffle archaeologists and historians with the mysterious secrets they hold inside and the mind-boggling level of precision found in their construction. These pyramids are not just evidence that the ancient Egyptians were capable of sophisticated construction. In fact, the detailed studies of these pyramids have revealed that the Egyptians of the Old Kingdom were beyond intelligent. They possessed a vast pool of knowledge, some impressive tools and unbelievable expertise in the field of engineering. It's hard to imagine how these insanely heavy structures came into being. Archaeologists have been trying to find out what sort of tools the ancient Egyptians used for construction. After all, it was impossible to build these gigantic pyramids without the help of some incredibly handy state-of-the-art tools. It's no secret that the analysis of the pyramids has confused archaeologists further, because the precision of these structures and the mathematical accuracy is as futuristic as the tools and construction methods employed in building them. This level of accurate calculation proves the ancient Egyptians were far ahead of their time, and all the structures they built were well thought out. The pyramids are much more than just an architectural wonder. Some even believe that the Giza pyramids are among the first ever engineering marvels known in history. Now, experts have revealed that the geographical placement of the pyramids is also scientifically significant. Experts have been trying to unravel the deepest, darkest secrets of the Egyptian pyramids for hundreds of years. Yet, there's a lot that still remains hidden from the archaeologists even today. Modern scientists have confessed that the Giza pyramids are not only perplexing for historians and engineers, but for physicists as well. Along with the geographical, constructional and mathematical planning, experts have also discovered that the pyramids were built keeping in mind the principles of thermodynamics too. The rock arrangements of these pyramids have kept archaeologists and engineers up at night for years. Nothing about them is simple or primitive, and it's nearly impossible to fathom the perfection with which these were put together to form the massive pyramids. Another mystery of the Egyptian pyramids modern archaeologists and historians are unable to resolve is the construction of the swiveled doors guarding the entrance of the Pyramid of Khufu. But what lies inside these pyramids is even more fascinating than their outside glory. Besides the chambers filled with ancient artifacts, sarcophaguses and scrolls, the hidden tunnels inside these pyramids also attract hundreds of thousands of tourists every year. While the ancient Egyptians adhered to the principles of trigonometry, astronomy and engineering, they also kept in mind their spiritual affiliations. Scientists are often quick to forget that the ancient Egyptian civilization worshipped several different gods and also dealt in curses. The pyramids of Egypt are no doubt considered among some of the most beloved archaeological sites today, but this wasn't always the case. Certain kings from the old days tried their level best to eradicate these magnificent structures from the face of the earth, but fortunately they were not entirely successful. Experts are hopeful that with newer technology and further detailed studies, They might be able to figure out the complex and evasive secrets of the Egyptian pyramids in the near future. But for now, they can only marvel at the challenge that is the ancient Egyptian civilization. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And make sure to subscribe to Unknown Realms of Technology for more exciting videos.